If you're a reasonable person, you should have Trump derangement syndrome.
When you worship false idols, you come to a point where it's either your principles or your false idols. And if your principles and your false idols are one thing, that's a pretty easy gig, an easy decision. And let's have a look at Jimmy Kimmel talking to Joe Scarborough from Morning Joe, saying that Trump derangement syndrome is a good thing. Let me know if you're suffering from TDS yourself.
I'm an optimistic person. I'm not hysterical. I laugh when people say, oh, you've got Trump derangement syndrome. Yeah. If you're a reasonable person, you should have Trump derangement syndrome. Right. And by the way, I think he has derangement syndrome about us, too. The fact of the matter is, this is a dangerous person. This is a stupid person, and that's a bad combination.
I disagree with that. I don't think he's dangerous, and I don't think he's stupid. I think he's got a particular genius for contemporary politics, and dangerous, probably anyone's dangerous that has access to the amount of power that the President of the United States, regardless of whether that person's Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, JFK, Abraham Lincoln. Did you ever listen to those podcasts, Hardcore Histories by Dan Carlin? Man, they were amazing. He did these brilliant podcasts on the Khan dynasty. Like, they were so long, it was like 12 hours long. It was like doing a university course, actually. I really, really loved them. He said, even if you think of a somewhat benign president like Jimmy Carter, don't get into your Democrat-Republican thing now. He's saying that Jimmy Carter plainly presided in a way that was somewhat tepid, timid. He was not warlike, he's not priapic, he was not a raging bald eagle, hard cock, rampaging through the world like, war, America. He was kind of like, hey, I'm folksy, I'm into carpentry. If you've seen him, he was into like Crosby, Stills and Nash. He was like a kind of gentle dude. He goes, still that motherfucker had to press the button and end lives, you know. And Dan Carlin made the point that if you're in the office of president, you're in a position that's testing. Well, do you want to do it? Like if you were visited by some Faustian agent and they said, you are president now, would you take it? Would you be able to handle it? Could you take the heat? I don't think so. Most of us can't. He's the person that's in that position. And here's Jay Leno on Kimmel. Who's judging anyone? We don't know what it's like to host a 5 times a week show, to be Jimmy Kimmel and to deal with all of those pressures. Let's see what Jay Leno, though, is saying about Jimmy Kimmel. I think he's saying that he humiliated him.
You know, when Kimmel came on my show and humiliated me in my own show, I let it happen. I didn't edit it. It was my mistake. I trusted somebody. I went, I made a mistake. Okay, I should pay the price. And it's fine. It's fine. I mean, we could have edited it out of the show.
Why didn't you?
Well, because it happened. It's real. It happened. It's my mistake. That's how you learn. You know?
Did you view it as a mistake, or is that good TV?
Well, it's not good TV for me because it started a whole thing that continues to this day, really. But it's okay. It's all right. I mean, he's a comic. You do what you got to do. Okay. I mean, I wouldn't have done it, but that's okay. That's all right. It's okay. It is what it is. It's better than saying, spend the rest of my life. So what really happened on that show? You know, you can take a look and see. You know, so yeah, it's fine.
I went on Leno about 3 or 4 times. He did an item once. Check this out. This is how embedded I was in the Jay Leno scenario. My mum came on the show with me, and Jay Leno filmed an item where he drove around in one of his cars with my mum as if he was dating my mum. It got quite involved. So what I remember about Jay Leno is he was lovely. You see how he's double passionate about cars. He's got them aircraft hangars full of cars. People, I think, whenever anyone's super successful and becomes an institution like Letterman or Leno that comes from a comedy background, there's a sort of a tendency to condemn them for selling out. That's what it used to be. The idea was if you were an artist, you sold out if the money got in the way of your integrity. Like that's something that's leveled at every single music artist, hip hop artist, comedian. Oh, they sold out, man. I remember when it used to be about X, Y, Z. The idea then, even if your perspective on stardom is culturally rather than spiritually oriented, you know that if a person starts to serve the pursuit of money over what they really believe in, they've lost their kudos and lost their credibility. That spat was when Conan was given the late night spot, and then Jay Leno went, actually, I think I want to continue with it. You know, and I loved Conan as well. That dude's funny. He's old. He's funny, Conan, like funny, another level funny, like a proper, like understands comedy beautifully. And because I've been so mired in the culture war for so long, because I've become part of it, you get dragged out of comedy. It's kind of hard. It's hard to stay in the lightness and the humor and the beauty and the joy and the play. And I reckon God loves play. Creativity is about play. Trust is about play. Sex is about play. You have to have a kind of a playfulness and a kind of joy. Play is important because play suggests that really what you're in is the moment, the eternal present. Think about playing with your kids, man. You have to be present with them. They have to feel safe. They have to trust. It's beautiful. And comedy is important because of play. All art has play in it. It has joy in it, certainly. Not that comedy can't be about dark stuff and art and music can't be about dark stuff. Even in the Kanye video, where he's doing that Heil Hitler, I see play in it. I don't think that Kanye is saying, do you know what? Hitler was a good player. He might be. I don't know. Let's look at it and let him talk for himself. He's a competent and great artist, capable for speaking for himself. But what I sense in it as an observer is he's playing. He's trying to bring ideas together and create a result in a culture that rewards homogeneity. People continually select towards the banalizing center. Because why? Because of commerce. Because advertisers won't advertise on late night TV if Colbert comes out and says, for example, do you know what? I really regret dressing up as a vaccine and endorsing those vaccines because it turns out that gain of function research is being banned now, or at least it's not going to be federally funded. And it looks increasingly like adverse events from those vaccines are potentially worse than if you got COVID itself. And by the way, COVID, it looks like, was somewhat funded by the American taxpayer through DARPA and the Eco Health Alliance. So I've really been on the wrong side here. And my God, all those things I've said about Bobby Kennedy, I need to take that stuff back. You can't say that because you won't get the advertising from Pfizer. But not only Pfizer, not even just the obvious links like that. It's more tangential and more amorphous. So my point is this: the people that occupy the center ground in the culture are compromised. They'll always be compromised. Even avant-garde artists are this. Who's avant-garde in the mainstream now? Who's like, whoa, this person's pushing buttons? Like, think about, and when I say avant-garde, think about Elvis, man. Elvis was controversial for a while. This guy's a bit too sexual. Cut his hair and get him in the army. Think about the Beatles, those sweet, adorable little darlings. When he comes to your country, John Lennon, and said, I think the Beatles are as big as Jesus, as he himself said, he wasn't saying the Beatles are better than Jesus. He was a guy in his 20s absorbing an incredible amount of power and energy, sexual energy thrown at him. He's meeting presidents all of a sudden. It's like an overwhelming thing. And he sort of spoke out. But since then, what has it become? What is the culture? What are the values of the culture? This will clear your butt out quick, fast. This is a coffee that believes in revolution. If the founding fathers were here today, they'd be drinking this. Alexander Hamilton would be sipping on this stuff. Dear Thomas Jefferson, he'd be downing this. And as for Sam Adams, I reckon he'd be snorting hard lines of it. And at the moment, 1775 Coffee have got a fantastic new deal. They're giving away free starter kits, free bags of coffee, 2 16 ounces of your choice, and the longevity brand infused with CA-AKG, the clinically studied compound that actually helps reduce your biological age. When I started this, I was very nearly an elderly man. Now I'm one of those babies. Here I am, look at me. I've just had a couple of cups of it. Oh, I've never felt better. And the deal is simple. You pay the cost of 2 bags of coffee and $17.75 takes care of the rest. That includes the 3rd bag and the gear. This sounds like drugs. Matte black tumbler, a frother, gold scoop, reusable K-cup filter. Go to 1775coffee.com/brand and get your free starter kit and caffeinate your soul before someone in a boardroom pulls the plug. I mean, it's a bit retro, isn't it, to talk about Jay Leno and Conan and the wars. But can we just see the clip that he was talking about? I'm just sort of interested.
I think the best prank I ever pulled was I told a guy that 5 years from now, I'm going to give you my show. And then when the 5 years came, I gave it to him, and then I took it back almost instantly. Wow. It was hilarious.
Ever order anything off the TV?
Like NBC ordered your show off the TV?
Yeah, no.
Strippers I don't like in general because you have this phony relationship with them for money. Similar to that of when you and Conan were on the Tonight Show together, passing the torch.
Right, yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do. Yes.
So he really went for him there. So Jimmy Kimmel will inevitably pass into the status that Leno had then. Elder statesman, representative of the culture. Jimmy Kimmel's that now. When you see Jimmy Kimmel going Trump derangement syndrome, he's dangerous and he's stupid, he is now the thing that he despised and loathed. Leno. Now, the thing is, the culture weren't so politicized then. Jay Leno was never coming out on the TV and saying, you have to vote for this person, you must never vote for this person, here are my views. He was making like wry wisecracks that were somewhat benign. He was not a contentious figure. Part of my affection for Jay Leno, as well as having gone on that show and him being sort of like an absolute delight to my mother, and it's difficult if someone's lovely to your mum, you're going to kind of love that person probably forever, right? Was also Bill Hicks, and that dude was a serious comedian. Jay Leno loved Bill Hicks. And what that tells me is that even though Jay Leno is a great comic, was a great comic, who ultimately bore the burden of being on TV 5 times a week and all that encompasses, that's a kind of inoculating and homogenizing experience for anybody. Like, you got to compromise. Look at Letterman. Letterman, when that show came out, it was edgy, it was radical, it was wild. Oh, there's cameras in the audience, there's a monkey being related. They were doing all sorts of crazy, innovative things. By the end of it, Dave Letterman's just shattered and exhausted and worn out and ground down by the culture, till in the end he'll come out in a beard on Netflix and do his sort of, Gandalf the White version of Letterman. Anyone who's ever been on Letterman, and I think I went on there 2 or 3 times, will know that guy was over it and fucking bored. He was bored. He was bored of doing it because it's boring. Now, the thing is in the intervening years, culture went from being sort of neutral to being bound to a set of cultural values that were really explicit and included increasingly radical ideas, the LGBTQ plus stuff. And I know their post-structuralist arguments would be, no, they're not radical. You're really taking a position if you say that 2.4 kids and heterosexualism and heterosexuality, that you're taking a position there. In a way, that's not true because, well, the Bible, and 2, because nature. I mean, there's so many ways of saying that heterodoxy has some legitimacy, i.e. that there are standards, that there's a standard, like a man and a woman. That doesn't mean it's wrong to be gay. That doesn't mean it's wrong to be trans. It doesn't mean any of those things. What the culture has created in us is such sort of certainty and piety that people have all day long throwing stones. Like, and it don't even matter what side you're on. You might hate social justice warriors, or you might hate Trump. You may hate Elon Musk. You may hate George Soros. You may think Bill Gates is a paedophile, or you might think Elon Musk is only in Doge so that he can data scrape and use all that data for, it doesn't actually matter anymore. What matters is some actual true sense of virtue where you begin with yourself, like Chesterton said, the great British writer, I am the problem. I'm the problem, me. Where you get to is that the culture is unconsciously Luciferian. It's advocating that you worship the culture instead of God. And if you worship the culture instead of God, you will end up with a godless culture. And that is what we've got right now. Because we are, in a sense, no better than ducklings imprinting on the first thing we see, our tendency is to say, like, oh, let's worship Trump now, or let's worship Elon. Trump is a highly competent, powerful leader who is bringing his entrepreneurialism and deal-making right now, even as we speak, to the Middle East. He's tariffing his components to within an inch of his life. What the culture doesn't know about itself, it doesn't know that it's evil. Forgive them. They know not what they do. It doesn't know. Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert, benign, really nice men, actually, nice people. They don't know that what they are advocating for is a kind of tepid, lukewarm, banal culture that means that people are just maneuvered around for a minute. For a minute, think about the degrees of suffering that are available and all around us. That's just what I think, though. Let me know what you think in the comments and chat. Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to see more uncensored content where free speech can flourish, join our live stream. Click the link right here to watch the next video if you want to, or become a member of a growing movement. Download the Rumble app and you'll be informed every time we make a new piece of content. Stay free.